Hello, my name is Kerryath, and today we are going to take a look at the Warcry Corvus Cabal Warband. And this is, of course, another range review, and similar to what we did with the Necromunda one for the Orlok gang, we're not just going to talk about the models, but also possible other applications for them. Because, of course, these ranges aren't as big, or at least they sort of are, but there's lots of very, very different things within them, which could get messy and weird. So instead we're going to focus on one at a time. They're going to be a bit shorter, but we're also going to look at other applications for these models as well. And I have to admit, this one is going to be a bit more tricky, largely because for the life of me, I'm not entirely sure what else you could do with this guy. So, the leader of this warband is super, super distinctive. Very distinctive, in fact. I really, really love this model. I think it's so, so good. It's creepy, it's weird, it's a little bit nonsensical, but, all of the best ones are. It's an odd one. But that can be said for a lot of the Warcry stuff, in fairness. They really push the boat out in weird, freaky stuff with Warcry, which I'm 100% in favour of. I do like this a lot, but I've always, since seeing it for the first time, struggled with kind of what else could you do with this thing? And I really, really don't know. I genuinely don't. I suppose you could do something funky in terms of maybe a sorcerer of some kind, a Tzeentchian sorcerer, maybe? That could be an option, although, of course, 40k wise, that would be a bit tricky to pull off, although, yeah, it's a difficult one. I did think, for a little while, that actually, a fun one might be some sort of tech priest, some sort of Admech Archmagos or something, possibly a Dark Mechanicus heretic, something like that. The feathers are very distinctive, the head is super distinctive. If you took the body away and put some kind of mechanical techie bits in there, you'd have to lose the legs, which would rob the model of the pose somewhat. Then there's a difficulty with the hands being on the wings. I think it's one of those few ones where you'd have to do some serious work to repurpose it. But then again, it's a really, really good base model. It's well sculpted, the details are really nice. It looks cool. The way they've done the hood and the beak protruding from underneath it, I think is super well done. You can see that there's a person in there, like in terms of you can tell there's a human head under there somewhere. But the way it's been kind of integrated under the hood works super well, and the wings are really, really nice. The hands are creepy as anything. What with the claws on them. Yeah, it's a good model. It's just, I'm not sure how I'd do anything with that. Which for me is, I like looking at stuff and going, how could I turn that into something else? And it's, I'm just like, I don't know what I'd do. I don't know what I'd do with it. Does look good though. A lot of those parts, I guess, would be kind of fun to do some sort of Raven Guard thing with. But of course that would require quite a bit of work and quite a lot of messing about. It might be a little bit too dark and culty for an actual Space Marine. Shout out to perhaps. This is easily, I think, my favourite model out of all of them in this set. It looks super good. I mean, obviously, this stuff, it goes without saying that you can do chaos stuff with this. It goes without saying. You can most definitely do chaos stuff with this, because pretty like most of the warbands currently are centred around some form of chaos. So that's kind of a given. But this one has such a good attitude to it. It's all the right kinds of creepy and odd, and the holding of the head in one hand with the actual like crow landing on it. It's nice. And that weapon is horrendous in the best way. I would honestly quite like to be able to use that weapon for other stuff. And that goes actually for a lot of the weapons in this warband. They are super like jagged and brutal. They look like amateurishly made. Like it was built by someone who doesn't really know how to make a weapon, but just knows that one side needs to be sharp, and you may as well stick some spikes on it, because why not? It's a really, really good model. And again, the use of the skull and beak just under the hood is super well done. Yeah, I do like that a lot. And again, there's just something about the weapons on these guys. They look cruel, I think is what it is. I think these would be really fun weapons for like Drakari or kind of what are they called? I've forgotten the name of them. The Idoneth Deepkin. You could have like a sort of a more kind of crueler version of those using some of these weapons. Not as big a fan of the head on this one as the others, but actually, you know what would be fun? Turning that into some sort of Chaos Assassin would be fun. You could do a head swap. You could take one of the weapons out of their hand and give them a gun of some description. Leave the other one. If you wanted to switch out the feet with something that's got boots on, that would be easy enough to do. I don't think you'd even have to repose it all that much, but it would be doable. It would be totally doable. That would be a fun use of that. But yeah, they're all solid. They're all solid models. And the thing I like as well about the feathers is there are a lot of them, but they're done in such a way that they don't take away from the main guy. Like the main guy's the only one who's got like the full wing effect going on, which kind of separates him out. Yeah, and kind of it's still coherent and it still all works together, but yeah, it's they all have that motif without it being a case of attention being drawn from the leader. Yeah, I don't know what it is about the weapons on these. They just look really harsh. They just look like cruel and like properly evil. Even the smaller ones, I think it's like the jagged, almost unfinished edge to some of them. Admittedly, the guy with the throwing darts. This one, I think it's one of my least favourites, just because of the throwing dart that he's got in his hand. But then again, it does have that nice detail of the claw, like going into the skin. To be honest, if you wanted to do some sort of like awful Tzeentchian cultists, you could totally convert some of these guys for that. Take one of the weapons out of one hand and give him like a las pistol or a stub pistol or whatever. You could totally get away with that. You could probably give one of them like a slightly heavier weapon as well, depending on how they're holding the one they came with. That would be that'd be quite a fun use for these actually. The faces would work super well. If you could do a bit of freehand, do a bit of like freehand rune painting on the skin, that would work super well. I'll leave that to someone who's better at freehanding though. There's no way I could manage that. The detail on this one of having like the metal in the eye, I really like. It's only a small thing. It's only a small detail, but it does a lot to add something extra to that model. And the fact that there's that nice bit of detail in the metal itself as well. There's a lot of good dynamic poses as well amongst these. They look in action in a convincing way. That spear I desperately want to use on some sort of Slaanesh Chaos Marine. I really want to use that spear for something. It is a properly evil spear. Good plumes as well. Good plumes on these guys. Like the hair is very flowing. It's nice and yeah. It's well sculpted because it's not too thick. It's not too thick and there's enough movement there that it fits well with the posing. Sometimes hair can be a bit like, especially when it's long and flowing, it can be a bit chunky. It can be a bit too like thick and heavy, but I don't get that from these guys. Again, awful spear. I don't know how effective they actually are as weapons. I mean, so many like random barbs and hooks and all sorts of stuff all over them that, I don't know, they could be terrible, but they look good, and that's the important bit. This is one of the, I think, cooler poses amongst this lot as well. It has a more kind of patient feel to it. It adds, I think, much needed variety. You've got quite a few that are kind of full tilt running or walking. The couple that are just waiting, just like that look motionless, I actually like that because it provides a good contrast to the rest of them. And this guy, I don't know why this guy just looks like a complete psychopath compared to the others. Even though the rest of them look pretty, psychopathic anyway. This guy just has got, I don't know whether it's... I don't think he's particularly, chunkier than the others. I don't think he's, particularly bigger. But the way the cloak comes over the back, for some reason it makes him look like he's just more hunched. Just makes him creepier for some reason, but I can't really work out why. The thing is that out of all the weapons on these guys, that sword I'm not too bothered about, and the kind of pickaxe thing I'm not too bothered about either, but he just looks threatening for some reason. But yeah, as a whole, it's a really solid warband. They do look good. And there's some nice fun parts on these as well. Things like the birds, and you've got the kind of the little skull, the little raven skull motif going on. I wonder if I can see that specific... Hang on, there's that sword. Oh, gutting. Yeah, I thought that would be the case. So the sword is actually attached to the staff on the back. That's a bit of a pain. I don't know. I think it might. Yeah, I think it would probably be salvageable. You just lose the stick on the back of it because you'd have to chop it off pretty severely. The weapons, actually, apart from that, are all really easily accessible, which is nice. And although the heads are largely, probably about a 50-50 split of the heads already being on the model, there's some pretty clean joins on the necks. If you took them off before gluing them together, then you could definitely repurpose the heads for stuff. Could probably make a really interesting warband by sticking some heads on from other ranges, actually. That would be fun. In fact, these guys with those kind of iron masks that you get from one of the Daughters of Cain kits would look funky. They'd be slightly less kind of avian, but they'd definitely have an additional amount of creep factor going on. Oh, intriguing. Yeah, that is the Corvus Cabal. I really like this one. It's one of the ones that I did like at the start, but there were occasional things that I just wasn't a fan of. A lot of the stuff that I wasn't a fan of, it just kind of faded over time. One of the things that I had to go over real quick is I don't like bare feet on models, just because they're a pain in the backside to paint. I don't like having to deal with it, which is a bit of a problem with Warcry, because a lot of them don't have any shoes on, but that's something you just got to get over pretty quick unless you don't want to ever buy any of those models. So, or unless you want to green stuff shoes onto everyone, and who's got time for that? But yeah, I do like these guys. They look decent. They look good. And I think, yeah, you could... Obviously, Chaos is the primary application. You could do some fun Tzeentchian kind of cultists. With a head swap, you could do some other stuff as well, I think. You could probably dedicate them to another Chaos god or two. But the real stars for this, for me, are the weapons, because they're just super jagged and brutal and just plain evil looking. I don't know that I'd buy the box just for the weapons, but if there was a way to get them separately, I'd be all over it. Let me know what you think of those guys in the comments down below. If you've seen any decent conversions of them, or any other applications where they've been used in full armies, either for 40k or Age of Sigmar, outside of the army that is just a big 3 packs of them walking around, then yeah, let me know in the comments. In the meantime, feel free to click all the things, Patreon, video, subscribe, all that stuff. Click it if you like, don't click if you don't want to. As always, there's an affiliate link in the description for Element Games. If you buy something, I get something to send you that way. You save a bunch of money on top of what you would have spent at Games Workshop. Nice way to support the channel. Some of it goes to charity end of the month. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.